Hey everyone, welcome back to bageltcg. Today we're going to be doing a deck tech on our last Uprising hero, Dromai, the Draconic Illusionist. Before we get into that, I want to shout out our sponsor, Whipped Wizard. You can check out the affiliate link in the description below to support the channel, as well as get great pricing, shipping on Uprising product and all Flesh and Blood product. Also check out the Patreon in the description to support the channel and get bonus content after every YouTube video. Let's hop into the deck here. So Dromai is going to be, as I kind of alluded to just by looking at the hero here, is it going to be an aggro hero, right? You see red, she cares a lot about red cards. Red cards typically lean more aggressive since they deal the most damage. So yeah, we are kind of an aggro illusionist here, which I think is really cool. Whenever she pitches a red card, you make an Ash. Whenever you play a red card, your dragons get go again that turn. And then our weapon is going to, let's actually look at the loadout first. Our weapon is going to make it so our dragon allies can attack for 0 resources. So for our dragon allies to attack with go again, we need to play a red card on our turn for our hero to give them go again, and then our weapon will let them attack for free. We're running Arcane Barrier 3 in the form of Crown of Reflection, Null Ruin Gloves, and Silent Stilettos for wizard matchups. Against Runeblade, we can run these Null Ruin Gloves here. We're running the new chest piece, Flamescale Furnace, to be able to just get 3 extra block on our chest. It blocks for 2, and then it'll block for 1, and then get destroyed because of Temper. We're running the new headpiece Crown of Providence here to block for 2 and filter our hand when we block with it. And then we're running the new arm piece here, Ghostly Touch. I'm not sure how good this card is going to end up being, but it is pretty nice that as our Phantasms get popped, we can build up this big arm piece here in form of Ghostly Touch, and then try to do attack for some big damage later. We're also running the classic Phantasmal Footsteps to make it so that we can get our action point back after our Phantasm's popped. Now let's look at the deck again here. So I think we're on 16 blues here and then 44 red cards. We've got a lot of new cool Draconic Illusions attacks like Billowing Mirage. That's a 1/3 that makes our 1/1 Aether Ashwing. We've got Sweeping Blow. That's a 1/3 with go again that gives us an Ash token. We've got Dunebreaker Centipi, which is basically just Draconic Spears of Surreality. It's a 1/5, and when it's destroyed, we make an Ash token. We're also playing the actual Spears of Surreality as a 1/5 go again. We're playing Embermaw Centipi. This is a 2/8, and when it's destroyed, you get an Ash. And then Dust Up, which is a 0/4, and when it hits, you make an Ash, and then you may transform up to one of them into an Aether Ashwing, which is once again our little 1/1s. So we've got a lot of cool attacks here. We've also got Fractal Replication to copy some of those attacks, and Mirage Metamorph as another powerful 1/7 here. Then we're playing a few non-illusions attacks like Command and Conquer and Erase Face. These are powerful on hits that let us finish up our chain. All of these powerful attacks make for a pretty strong aggro deck here. We're also playing Skittering Sands. This is a 0 cost that makes a 1/1 Aether Ashwing and then gives it +3, so we can attack for 4 with that Aether Ashwing. Lots of really cool effects here, lots of ways to deal some nice chunks of damage. We're playing blues with a few of these, like Blue Embermaw, Blue Dust Up, and Blue Dunebreaker. Our other blues are these 2 auras. So we have Passing Mirage, makes our first illusions attack lose and can't gain Phantasm, which is really good effect. Also, Pierce Reality gives our first illusions attack each turn +2. But almost all of our attacks are illusionist attacks except for our 6 generics, so pretty strong effect there. We also got this little one of Eye of Ophidia. This card's pretty nice because it works really well with our legendary dragons. We're playing Tumulti and we're playing Dominia. These ask you to reveal the top cards of your deck. So if you're pitching Eye of Ophidia to summon them, you'll be able to opt those red cards on top of our deck. So Tumulti is 5 for a 5/5. When you attack with it, you reveal the top 2, and for each red card, you put a -1 counter on an opponent's equipment, and if it has 0 defense, it'll be destroyed. Dominia, you reveal the top card. If it's red, you can look at your opponent's hand and then banish a card, so pretty strong there, and she's 4 for a 4/4. Dromai is one of our strongest dragons. He's 0 for a 3/2, and when he attacks or leaves the battlefield, you gain an action point once per turn. Pretty nice because since it already has go again, when he attacks, he'll get 2 action points, and then you can use that for any of our attacks that don't have go again, like Dust Up, or we have lots of attacks without go again, and that'll kind of give them pseudo go again since they'll use up that second action point, and you'll be able to keep going with your turn. Other dragons we've got here is Mirror Guy. He's 1 for a 2/4, and he removes Phantasm from your first dragon each turn. Really strong against decks like Brute or Guardian that have a lot of Phantasm pops. And then we've got Kyloria here. He's 1 for a 4/2, so a really aggressive rate. And when he hits an opponent, we can steal an item from them. And if we don't steal an item, for example, against decks that don't have items, we will be able to draw a card, which is pretty nice as well. It's kind of a repeatable snatch, which is really powerful. That's the main board. Went through it kind of fast there, but basically just a lot of powerful red attacks, some big punchy dragons. The deck's a little weak into stuff like Ninja because they're going to get all of their Mask Momentum triggers on our dragons. And in those matchups, all the dragons block for 3, so we'll just block with our dragons, and then we'll try to just aggro them down with our attack action cards, like Dunebreaker Senpai, like Command and Conquer. We're just going to try to not make dragons against decks that want to have on hits. Like I said, like Ninja, like Runeblade, that have some powerful on hits. The dragons are a lot better against stuff like maybe like Wizard, for example. They're pretty good against maybe other illusionists. There's certain matchups where the dragons feel stronger and certain matchups where they definitely feel weaker. In our sideboard, we've got 3 Themais. He is a 2 cost for a 3/4, and it says that your opponents can't play cards or activate abilities on your turn. This is really good against wizards who want to do stuff on your turn. It's also pretty nice against stuff like Guardian, like Oldham, who wants to activate their hero ability or play defense reactions. They can't do any of that on your turn, so pretty nice card for certain matchups, but some matchups like Ninja, it won't do anything. We've got 3 Rake the Embers here. This is another good card against decks that have a lot of arcane damage. It makes an Ash token and then can transform up to 3 Ash into Aether Ashwings, which are our little 1/1 boys. But they all have Arcane Barrier, so this basically makes you Arcane Barrier 3, which is really powerful, great against Wizard. We've got 3 Sandcover. This targets an Ash you control, and it gives it Ward 4 until end of turn. So if your hero would be dealt damage, prevent 4 of that damage instead and destroy this. Pretty good. Blocks any of those nice 0 for 4 attacks like Snatch. It can also just block 4 arcane damage because Ward 4 works on anything. So really powerful effect here. Nice to be able to get Ward 4 at instant speed. Even plays around dominated attacks because it's an instant. And then lastly, we've got Thaw here. Thaw is basically just for ice decks, but we can banish it from our graveyard at the beginning of our turn to either destroy a Frostbite, destroy an Ice Affliction, or unfreeze a frozen card. Doesn't really do much against other decks. Maybe it could pop some Phantasms against Illusionists, but we already have 6 Phantasm pops in the main board here, so it's not really necessary as a Phantasm pop. It's mostly going to be powerful against ice decks to get rid of Frostbites or get rid of Ice Afflictions or unfreeze frozen cards. So pretty powerful there. But yeah, the deck looks really fun. I think it's probably the weakest of the Uprising decks, of the Uprising heroes. It's going to struggle in the sense that your dragons all are going to trigger on hits, and you can't block for them, so they just get killed. It's going to be weak against some of those aggro decks that are able to just crunch and just murder your dragons, but I think it has some pretty powerful damage, and I think this deck does have a chance. I just think this one's kind of the newest and the weirdest of the Uprising heroes, so it's definitely going to take a good bit of optimization before we can kind of figure out what Dromai is doing and how to solve her. So yeah, I think this deck's really cool though. I want to say that I appreciate all the support. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you're doing with your Dromai decks, what you're doing differently, and I'll see you guys next time.